Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we take stacks of information and really try to pull out the key nuggets of knowledge to help you cut through all the noise out there. Today, we're plunging into something, well, fascinating and frankly, a bit unsettling too. It's about how quickly public perception can be shaped by just a few seemingly small bits of information, especially, in the digital age.
Exactly. And our sources for this deep dive are excerpts from a report called Trump's Health Rumors, a Digital Wildfire. We'll be looking closely at what happened in late August 2025 and just, well, how fast speculation could ignite and really spiral online from just a couple of details.
Right. So our mission today isn't just to say what happened, but to really unpack how a digital wildfire like this even starts. How does it gain momentum? What does its spread tell us about, well, information and rumor today?
It's a powerful lesson, really, in critical thinking and just understanding the architecture of these online narratives.
Okay, so let's set the scene. Late August 2025. It seems this whole surge of speculation kicked off with something pretty simple, actually, a visible bruise. On August 24th, Trump makes a surprise appearance at his golf club in Virginia. He's there with Roger Clemens, the former MLB pitcher. And he seemed active, smiling, gave a thumbs up to the cameras, but our sources note that bruise on his hand was visible again, and it caught people's attention.
Yeah, and it's remarkable, isn't it, how just one visual detail can become such a focal point. What the report highlights here is that, well, even when there's an official explanation, and a fairly benign one, a persistent visual can just overshadow it.
Right, because there was an explanation. Back in July, his chronic venous insufficiency, the CVI diagnosis, was disclosed.
Exactly. And at that time, doctors specifically emphasized, no blood clots, no heart failure, no serious risks. The bruised hand was explained as just a symptom of this condition. But the visual, it lingered. It stayed in the public consciousness, kind of creating this unspoken question mark.
Okay, so you have the bruise lingering. Then comes the last confirmed public event, August 26th. A televised cabinet meeting at the White House, standard stuff. But then from August 27th onward, his official schedule. Nothing. No public events listed. Now, our sources say a blank weekend calendar isn't totally unprecedented for a president, but given that visible bruise and the whispers already circulating, this absence quickly became, well, fuel for more speculation.
And that combination creates this fascinating vacuum, doesn't it? The lack of scheduled information, especially when it follows a visual that's already got people curious, it can be just as powerful as actual misinformation and making people feel uneasy. The report really emphasizes how the internet just loves to fill those gaps.
Yeah, often with its own stories, turning routine silence into something suspicious. So, okay, we've got the bruise, the quiet schedule, the internet starting to hum, but then things really escalated. Around the same time, Vice President JD Vance gives an interview. And he makes this, well, pretty striking statement. He stressed he was, quote, ready to step in if, God forbid, a terrible tragedy occurs.
And if you connect that to the sort of broader psychological impact, a statement may be meant to reassure or just show preparedness. It can actually do the opposite. It can paradoxically amplify anxiety.
Even though he also insisted Trump was incredibly good health and praised his energy.
Right. Vance did say that, according to our sources, praised his incredible energy.
Right.
But the juxtaposition, strong health claims right next to preparing for a terrible tragedy, it just created this space that was really ripe for speculation. Even if it wasn't intended that way at all, it creates a kind of narrative tension.
And the internet definitely picked up on that tension. By August 30th, this digital wildfire was really raging. The hashtag Trump is dead was trending on X, formerly Twitter. Searches for "Is Trump dead?" spiked on Google.
Wow.
Some posts were even claiming the White House was actively hiding some major health event. And right in the middle of this, streamer Aiden Ross decides to weigh in.
Ah, right. The Aiden Ross live stream.
Yeah, he goes live, claims he'd been contacted by Trump's son, Barron, who apparently told him literally nothing's wrong with his father. Ross repeats, Trump's fine, he's alive, still running the government. The clip goes viral, naturally. But our sources note, for a lot of skeptics, it just didn't land as credible evidence. It sounded more like, hurried rumor control from a really unofficial channel.
And that's what's so interesting, isn't it? How attempts to quash a rumor can sometimes just backfire spectacularly.
Yeah.
When the messenger isn't seen as official or, authoritative, or maybe the message itself feels a bit out of place, it could accidentally lend legitimacy to the very rumor it's trying to shut down.
Yeah, it reinforces the suspicion, makes people wonder why this person is saying it, not a White House spokesperson.
Exactly. It raises more questions than it answers for some people.
Okay, so hand bruise. quiet weekend, Vance's comments, the streamer trying to help, as if that wasn't enough. Then, a really familiar piece of pop culture mythology resurfaces. The Simpsons. The old Simpsons predicted it trope. This time, The Simpsons predicted Trump's death.
Oh, boy.
A short, kind of grainy clip starts circulating online, appears to show Trump in a coffin.
And it just begs the question, why do these pop culture prophecies stick so hard, even when they're, demonstrably false?
Because fact checkers jumped on it pretty fast, right?
Right.
Pointed out the footage was faked. There is no actual Simpsons episode showing Trump's death.
Absolutely not. It's fabricated, but the show has this established, almost mythical reputation for predicting things, from tech gadgets to, well, other major events. And that cultural myth gives the fake clip this powerful, almost preordained credibility. Just fits so neatly into that atmosphere of uncertainty.
Like that viral comment said, if The Simpsons said it, it must be true.
Yeah,
Scary.
it is. And the reports suggest this taps into a kind of pattern recognition bias. People recall similar narratives, maybe like the popular idea about Queen Elizabeth's health before announcements. Even if that comparison isn't really accurate here, people unconsciously apply that pattern. It makes the current uncertainty feel familiar, like something real is about to happen, regardless of the actual evidence.
Okay, so let's try and pull this apart. We've seen the pieces, the bruise, the quiet weekend, Vance's ambiguous words, Aiden Ross's attempt, the fake Simpsons meme. But why did these rumors catch fire so intensely? What made it, as our sources called it, a perfect storm for conspiracy?
Well, you've laid out the elements perfectly. And, it's not unusual for world leaders' health to be speculated about. Our sources remind us of history, like Roosevelt's wheelchair, Kennedy's Addison's disease, even Biden's stumbles. That happens. But for figures like Trump, who have such a highly visible brand and, let's face it, very polarizing politics, that scrutiny gets dramatically amplified. He's already someone who generates intense discussions, so any news, real or imagined, just spreads faster.
And it seems like it's less about facts and more about the story.
That's a huge part of it. The report suggests public perception often prioritizes narrative coherence over strict factual accuracy, especially in the short term. If a rumor, like this one, fits an existing story people already believe, maybe about an older leader's health or about politics being hidden, it gains traction. Even if there's evidence against it, it just feels right within that narrative people already hold.
So the combination, the bruise photo, the schedule gap, Vance's comments, plus that Queen Elizabeth comparison people made in their heads, and then the Simpsons meme. It was like all the ingredients the internet needed.
Exactly. It provided all the ingredients for the internet to just run wild. Each element fed into this larger unfolding story, whether it was fact-based or not. And there are real cognitive biases at play here that the report touches on.
Like what?
Well, first, confirmation bias. People actively look for and remember information that confirms what they already suspect. If you already thought something was up, these pieces just slot right in.
Okay, that makes sense.
Then there's the availability heuristic. If you see something over and over, a trending hashtag, that viral clip, it starts to feel more plausible just because it's so easily available in your mind. The sheer volume creates an illusion of truth.
Right. You see hashtag Trump is dead everywhere, you start to wonder.
Precisely. And finally, echo chambers. Social media is incredibly good at amplifying these stories within groups that already think alike. Once a rumor gets into that echo chamber, it feels like unquestioned fact, and anyone challenging it gets ignored or dismissed.
Wow, it's almost dizzying how fast it went from a bruise to a death rumor, complete with fake TV clips in just days. It really shows how fragile our collective sense of truth can be, especially when emotions get involved instead of just, cold facts.
Absolutely, and that raises a critical point about the sheer speed of it all. In our world, memes often travel much faster than detailed medical reports or careful fact checks. So rumor often wins that initial race for attention. And once an image or an idea gets traction, seen again and again, it becomes incredibly hard to undo that impression.
It takes more effort to debunk than to start the rumor.
Exactly. There's an asymmetry there. A compelling rumor needs way less factual basis to spread than a thorough debunking does to counter it. Our sources basically conclude the internet thrives on uncertainty. It rushes to fill any information vacuum with its own stories, and those are tough to dislodge once they take root.
Okay, so amidst all that swirling speculation, let's get grounded. As of August 30th, what do we know? What are the clear, straightforward facts, according to the sources?
Right. Let's separate the signal from the noise. Fact 1. Trump was last seen publicly on August 26th at that cabinet meeting. Verifiable.
Okay.
Fact 2. The bruised hand has an official explanation from Dr. CVI, chronic venous insufficiency, first disclosed back in July.
Huh.
They explicitly said no clots, no heart failure, no serious risks then. That explanation exists.
Got it.
Fact 3, no official public events were scheduled for that weekend starting August 27th. Importantly, no cancellations were confirmed either. It was just a blank calendar, not a sudden change.
A key distinction.
A very key distinction. Fact 4, that Simpsons clip showing him in a coffin. Unequivocally fake. Fleet checkers confirmed it. No such episode exists.
Right.
And finally, fact 5, Trump himself remained active on his platform, Truth Social, posting multiple times a day throughout this period, which directly contradicts any idea of him being absent or incapacitated.
So putting all those facts together, the core message from every credible source we looked at is undeniably clear. He is alive.
Absolutely.
Alive.
The report strongly contends that the bigger story here isn't actually about whether Trump is alive or dead, which, again, all credible info says he is. The real story is how quickly these rumors can spiral out of control, fueled by just a single photo, a vague remark, maybe a piece of pop culture myth. It shows that once speculation kicks off online, nobody really controls where it goes. And that first overwhelming wave of misinformation can create a lasting impression that's incredibly hard to fully correct.
So we've really journeyed from just a visible bruise to a trending hashtag, a celebrity live stream, a faked meme, all in just a few days. This deep dive into Trump's health rumors, a digital wildfire, really does showcase the raw power and maybe the peril of information in our super connected world. It's a vivid picture of how facts, while they do eventually come out, often end up playing catch up to a story that's built really fast and accepted really widely.
It really reinforces that idea, doesn't it? While the facts do clarify things in the end, that initial widespread impact of a rumor is profound, and it's incredibly difficult to fully control or undo. The impression often sticks around long after the debunking, which makes critical thinking right at the start more important than ever for all of us.
Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive. And for you, our listener, here's maybe a final thought to chew on. In an age where information and misinformation can spread pretty much just as fast, what responsibility do we have as individuals? Especially when we encounter something online that just feels true but hasn't actually been verified. How do you make sure you're consuming information critically in a world where sometimes rumor seems to win the race for our attention, leaving the truth trailing behind?